fun all the time.
Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today I'm gonna be just getting ready for the day, and I thought I'd share what I use because I did one of these a while back. I think I did one back in December and it's October now of the next year. Lots of things have changed in my makeup routine, so I figured now would be the best time to go ahead and share that with you guys. So this is my makeup bag. I used to have everything in here and another bag, but I've cut down on makeup so much because I am a swim school teacher. I just don't need so much of it. I don't need 3 different foundations for different times of the year. I just need one, because I don't go out in the sun. I work in a pool inside. So first things first, we are going to start with our primer. So the primer I've been using, I've only been using it for about a month, and I actually really like it. It is the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. It was pretty cheap, honestly. I'm not the biggest spender when it comes to makeup, but I will invest in some good eyeshadows. That is where I will really invest, because you want to make sure that everything can blend really nicely. And then after that, I go in with my foundation, and I've been using this Maybelline Dream Urban Cover in the shade Warm Nude. It's not the best foundation I've ever used, but it's very hydrating. It's got SPF in it, and it is the closest I've come to my shade without going high end. Like, I got this from H-E-B, and you can probably find it at Walmart too, but it's just the closest I've come to finding my shade and not having to go to like Sephora or something like that. And not that I'm not willing to go and spend the money, but I just prefer not to if I can. So after I apply that just kind of all over my face, I will then take my wet beauty blender and blend it all out. Alright guys, after that I will go in with my concealer just under my eyes and around my nose a little bit, because that is where I get my dark circles and then the real red patches around my nose. But I have been using this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind for the past 5 years. It is my favorite concealer in the entire world. I love it so much. Like, I think it's just that applicator. It's so nice to be able to just smooth it on under the eyes, and if I was out and about and I just needed a touch up, I could easily blend my concealer out with the applicator itself. Once I'm done putting my concealer on, I like to go in with this Airspun loose face powder. I'm using the shade Naturally Neutral. It gives a little bit of color to my under eyes instead of just the translucent powder, and I kind of prefer that. And then I just take this dome brush. All my brushes I've gotten off Amazon. I've had them for so long now that I look like you can see that the decal or the brand is coming off because I've just used it that much. But I'm just gonna get some powder into the cap and just go under my eyes. Around the nose. And I like to go on top of my nose because my nose gets really oily throughout the day, and I know that once I'm filming I get really nervous and I'm sweating a little bit, so I want to make sure that my nose is nice and powdered up. And then right on top of my lip also, because this is the most embarrassing thing ever, but when I sweat, I get a sweat mustache. Never fails. I've gotten it my entire life, and it's the most annoying thing ever. But as long as I powder, I'll be okay. And then just a little bit in the center of the forehead so you don't look super, super shiny. Gonna go ahead and do my brows. For my brows, I've been using the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow. This is in the shade Medium Brown. On one side is the applicator itself, and then on the other is a little spoolie to brush out your eyebrows. So, because I have pretty thick eyebrows, I just like to brush mine out and add a little bit to the end. I don't really need too much in the front because then otherwise it'll look like I have a box for a brow, and that is definitely not what we want. Brows are done. I just brush them out again so that product can blend throughout the brow. And then we will move on to eyes. So, for today's eyes, we are going to be using one of my favorite palettes, the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. It is really one of my favorites. Actually, for my birthday, my sister got me one of the smaller palettes from her Volt collection, and this one is my absolute favorite. I use this on a daily basis. That yellow shade, oh girl, it is my favorite. But today I thought we would go for a more neutral look. As you can see, that yellow right there is almost gone. So we're gonna stay on this top row and give ourselves a little neutral look today. I wish I still had the sheet that had all the colors on it so I could tell you, oh, I'm using this shade. But I don't. I just don't. But I'm going to be dipping into these two shades right here just to give myself a little base blending color. And for my next shade, I'm going into almost like this pukey brown shade. It's like yellowish greenish. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but it is just below the other two colors. And I'm just gonna add that in for a little bit more definition right here in the crease. And now I'm going in with a more defined brush, and we're gonna pack on this dark brown right over here. It's a little more of a warm tone than a cool tone brown, but that's kind of the look we're going for. I like to keep things more warm because I have lighter eyes. If you have brown eyes, that's when you can keep things really cool because it makes the gold flecks and some brown eyes pop. But I don't have brown eyes, I have green eyes, which is also a curse and a blessing. Alright, so because I'm going for a more natural look, I just want to make sure that everything is like really nice and blended, because if not, it's gonna look kind of funny. So blending everything together, then we're gonna take it, whatever's left over on our brush, we're gonna take it under that bottom lash line. I don't like to add more color underneath my eyes because I have such dark circles. It kind of brings my eyes down. So I just take whatever's left over and I rub it into that outer side, kind of dragging that outer V color down. And then just with my finger, I'm gonna add a little bit of shimmer to the lid. I normally go for gold to give myself a little bit of pop, and then I'll add a little liner. But today we're gonna keep it neutral with these champagne colors right up here. I like to use my middle finger or my ring finger whenever I'm doing this. They are a little bit lighter on the eye than your pointer finger or thumb, because those are the things you use to grab a lot with, and you don't want to put too much pressure on your eye. You could hurt yourself. So I don't go straight from my eyeshadow into my mascara. I like to let the eyeshadow sit. My mascara is something I do at the very end. So right now what we're going to do is blend away all of this powder that we have on our face here. Just make sure it's all off. And now you have a really matte, silky looking under eye. Same thing with your nose, very matte looking. And then from there, I just take the excess powder and drag it into the other areas of my face that I did not bake. Now we are going in with my bronzer and my blush. I think I've been using the same bronzer and highlighter for the past 4 years. They're honestly my favorite ever. I've been using the Champagne Pop, Jaclyn Hill, Becca highlighter for the past 4 years now. I just love it so much. This is my 3rd one and I've already hit pan on it. Like I said, I don't wear makeup that much, but if you're going through an entire highlight every single year, that's kind of a lot of highlight. But I just love it. I love it so much. It's my favorite highlight in the entire world. But now I'm just going to take my bronzer, which is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the shade 330 Toffee Caramel. And I just like to take this right below my cheekbones and a little bit into that temple. I never take it above the brow because that just darkens this part of your face right here. And this is an area you want to brighten. You want that brow to just pop out. So I like to keep it right underneath the cheekbone. And then I take it down right below my jaw. I come right underneath the ear, almost to that chin, but not all the way. And then I blend a little bit down my neck. Another thing I like to do is I have quite a big forehead. It's just from when I was a kid, I always pulled my hair back, so my hairline kind of went back. But I've learned my lesson. I don't wear super tight ponytails anymore. I try and let my hair just fall naturally, never making an exact part, just to keep my hairline where it's at. But I will go right here in the center, just patting, and then we'll start to blend it down. Again, not going into that eyebrow zone. We don't want to darken that area. We want it to pop. So, with that all blended, it is time for blush. Now, I'm not huge on blush, but I have noticed that when it gets a little bit colder, my face looks dull even with bronzer, so I need to add a little bit of color back into it. This is just the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in the shade Mellow Wine, and it is beautiful. I just can't explain what kind of color that is. I love it so much. This is actually my second one, and I just like to take that right on the apples of my cheeks. I just do a little dab on both sides because this is so pigmented that if you do too much, it'll show very quickly. It will show. So just adding a little bit to the apples of my cheeks and then a little bit along my nose. And once I've placed the first part of the product, that's when I'll start to blend everything together. And now, last but certainly not least, one of my favorite products, I've already told you, is my highlighter. So, with my highlighter, I used to have a fan brush that I used, but my dogs kind of chewed it up, so I've been using my finger, and honestly, I'm okay with using my finger. Just use my ring finger and dab that on. And then I like to take a little bit right on the center of my nose and along the bridge. I don't want those lines to connect, I want them to pop, pop. So make sure, just get a little bit on that nose and then right on the Cupid's bow. Oh, I can feel that sweat mustache coming in. Thank goodness we powdered. Alright, so once that is all done, then I'll go in with my lips, which I think for today we're just going to do some gloss. I'm going to be using the NYX Plump It Lip Plumper It gives such a beautiful sheen and it has a really nice natural color. So we're just going to apply that and then we'll finish off with mascara and we'll be done. Okay, you guys, so here is the finished look. I just used some brown mascara so I didn't darken my eyes up too much because we have a very light look going on here. But do you see how matte my skin looks? I love it so much, and I'm so proud of my makeup skills and how far they've come since I first started doing it till now. I figured out what works for my face, what products don't, and it's just the best feeling ever. But I hope you guys enjoyed this get ready with me video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!